how y'all doing? Welcome back to another edition of Space Invaders TV. I'm your host, Rashawn, aka Looker. It is April the 7th, 2022, and I want to say peace and blessings be with all of you. Thank you for clicking on and checking out this new topic we're going to speak about today. And I just want to get right into it. So this is no way, shape, or form a shot at the LGBTQ community. This is more so like giving props to them. Although, yes, I stand firm in my spot. I'm a man, and I'm not gay or anything of that nature, but I can respect, when someone who is stand up for themselves. That's what I present here. That's what I talk about here. Like, people just, I bring topics to make, some people aware if they're not aware, of what's going on, some of the things that may be going on that don't make your regular news cycle, on your local news stations, or doesn't make the front page news. The things that go on in the communities that just get overlooked, and swept under the rug. And I pride myself on bringing that to all my viewers, and just talking about the things that you talk with your friends, associates, family members, that in your front, on your front porch, in your backyard, in your kitchen, wherever, the conversations that are had. These are the conversations and subjects and topics that I like to bring and talk about. And one of them is, I have to give the props to the LGBTQ community. I have to, when it comes to these politics, because they stand firm. Those people stand firm. Once again, when I say those people, I mean in the LGBTQ community. They stand firm. Nobody's gonna say anything, or if they feel like anyone is trying to diminish or overlook them, or they're not getting their just, they're gonna continue to fight. They're gonna speak out and march. And more so, what what I like and is the fact that they have people inside in the media, in this whole media world. There are folks within that LGBTQ community, within the media, and they're working all around and with us, And one thing for sure, they're gonna stand together on something if they feel like it is threatening to them. They're gonna stand together, and you're gonna hear about it. And that's why when there's anyone that they deem that disrespects them, especially if it's through entertainment, someone disrespects them, they're gonna get you out of there. They're gonna get you out of there. You say something wrong on a news cycle, or on a talk show, or I don't care who you are, they're gonna get you out of there. Politics, they're gonna come. They coming for you. When they want their rights. When they're looking for equal rights, they're gonna come for you. And I respect that. And one thing for sure, over the last, if anything, over the last decade, you're going to hear something concerning political. When it comes to politics, you're gonna hear the LGBTQ community, you're going to hear a reference to them, or a bill or something being looked at, talked about, or something concerning them in the community. And I respect that. I respect that. And like I said, once again, because they're working right alongside of us in every industry, in every industry. They're human beings just like us. They're people just like us. Some people want to look at those in the LGBTQ community and in that lifestyle as they're weirdos or something like that. No, they're human beings, man. And you can't do nothing but someone like me, I can't do nothing but respect someone who stands up for themselves. They're living in their truth. You can't do anything but applaud that. Especially, how can I be against anything like that when I speak about pretty much everything I speak about almost comes back around to human rights, if you pay attention, and justice and things of that nature. So to move on from that, I want to get into, when it comes to politics, it just seems like the politicians play this game. They play this popularity game. And what's the more popular and what seems to be more, how can I say, something more easier for them to attack or address, I should say. And so when it comes to the LGBTQ community, it's like you hear many politicians, they're addressing those issues, but when we talk about human rights issues, though, when we and just to make it more clear, the HR1S1 bill for the People Act, since 2019 has been presented to the House, and we have yet to hear anything on it. And it's always funny to me because we have so many people the same way we have the LGBTQ community working all around us. We have so many heterosexuals out here that say they down for this and down for that, and they for the people and they for this and they for rights and this and that. But they won't speak out. They won't say anything. We have people inside that won't say anything, that won't speak out about anything for the people, and been in political positions for years and won't speak out for the people, and won't direct the people where to go. We have so many things, what I'm saying, that, like I said, I don't knock the LGBTQ community at all. I don't knock them, man, because like I said, there are things that there are certain things within their community that I don't agree with, and but we're human. We all human. We have the right to agree to disagree. That doesn't mean that just because there's certain things that I don't really approve of in their community that I'm going to disrespect them, or that I'm going to hate them, or any negativity. It's just certain things that I don't agree with, which I'm not going to go down that road because this is not what I'm presenting. What I'm trying to show is how a community of people, how they band together to do something. What some of the rest of the country looks at them, side eye them and everything, but they stick together. And the same ones that is a side eye that community, they won't stand up. They're quiet. They're scared to say certain things that help move and make progress. So we go on and we talk about things like the slavery reparations bill, right? Now, I'm gonna read your article here uh, from U.S. Congress. Uh, what is this? Yeah, .org. Okay. The U.S. Congress will take a historic step on April 14th, 2021, when a congressional committee is to vote on slavery reparations bill. Human Rights Watch said today. The House Judiciary Committee announced on April 9th its upcoming vote on H.R. 40, the Commission to Study and Develop Reparations Proposals for African American Acts. The H.R. 40 would establish a federal commission to study the legacy of slavery in the United States and its ongoing harm and development proposal for redress and repair, including reparations. The bill has been introduced at every congressional session since '89, but has never before reached a committee vote. Normally, the first step towards passing legislation, the vote comes amid an acceleration in the reparations movement, success at the state and local levels. So we're gonna move on past that real quick. I want to read this article to show which cities and states have made strides and to try taking it upon themselves and not waiting for the federal government to come up with any act or So in March, the City Council of Evanston, Illinois approved the country's first reparations program for black people, and in 2020 California established its own HR 40 style commission at the state level to study and recommend reparations for black Californians. Reparation efforts have also made progress recently in cities such as Providence, Rhode Island, Asheville, North Carolina, Burlington, Vermont, Amherst, Massachusetts, with bills and grassroots initiatives being considered in many other communities. Religious and other institutions, as well as businesses, have also begun to acknowledge their roles in slavery and to address its continuing harm. So yeah, you see you see those cities and states, those cities and those certain states have took, we're being proactive, you know, and taking the steps, and you got to respect that. But then, then you look at a lot of those. You feel those states are huge states, right? And you say like California and North Carolina or big states, right? So you say, and of course, California is larger than North Carolina, but they're still big states, right? So you figure like, okay, why only, like this one town in North Carolina, this one city, I should say, in the mountains. That's why Asheville is actually in the mountains of North Carolina. Still, why haven't anyone else? And I remember when Asheville took that stand and they did it, but why hasn't any other city, you know, or county, especially the biggest cities like Raleigh, Charlotte, Greensboro, Winston-Salem. Why you figure why haven't those bigger, those are the bigger cities within the state, you know, of North Carolina. Why haven't they even made an approach? Why haven't they even come up with anything? You know, if you got certain cities that within a state that's smaller, and they're making efforts and being proactive, you want to think like why haven't the bigger cities haven't followed suit? So it's just but so I look at those things and I say, you know what? When I think about things like people, when people I say, why are you comparing? I compare the LGBTQ community. You know why? Because when they fight, they stand up for their rights. They fight. They have ongoing initiatives. They you're not gonna say nothing about their community. You're not gonna say nothing about the community and just think that, oh, you're gonna get away with it. Anytime that you say anything negative about their community. And I was wrong, and I was, I can point a finger at myself, because there was a time when I was like, well, damn, why every time somebody say something about their community, they want to say, but I had to step back and understand and look and say, you know what, there's a lot that they're fighting for. You know what I'm saying? They're they're fighting to be seen. They're fighting for respect. You know what I'm saying? And to be heard. So yes, every time someone says something and they know that a lot of folks don't understand their life and who they are, they have to speak up. So I had to step back, and I was like, you know what? Those, you know, it's almost like for me, I'm one of those people where, you know, I don't claim like one religion or anything, because I'm a spiritual person. So I can read something from Buddhism, I can read something from Islam, I can read something from the Baptist, Pentecostal. I can read something from where I can read something and get something from everywhere, because I'm a spiritual person. So I have to respect that. Hey, you believe in a higher being, so yeah, I may not follow everything that you're saying, but at the end of the day, to me, I'm a spiritual person, so it's more like, I'm gonna roll what I'm gonna roll, and I'm gonna give you a shot and listen to what you're saying when if you're speaking on the Most High, however you address our higher power, our higher being. You know what I'm saying? However you address them, I'm gonna give you a moment and listen. You know what I mean? And if it's something I don't agree with, okay, it's something I don't agree with. But I still gonna respect that you do have some you believe in a high power. Even if you don't, that's your choice, even if you don't believe. But what I'm saying is, if someone is if if, if you believe and you're bringing something to me, I'm gonna give you a minute, and I'm gonna read it. I don't care, Jehovah Witness, I don't care what it is. You can is a jewel, especially when you're speaking on religion. There's a jewel in every denomination. There's a jewel there. You know what I mean? Because not everyone is right what they're saying, not everything, but there's a jewel there. And who am I to knock someone else's belief? I can't. So, like I said, I can take something like they're fighting for a lot of things, man. So when I see, when I see every time uh that they're striking back when somebody's saying something about their community, they're striking back on them, and I have to respect that. And I just wish, and I was like, why can't we take, you know, why can't we take from that? When there's bills that need to be passed, and why can't we take from that? Why can't we be right on? Why can't, when somebody like me is speaking on positivity and speaking and trying to give people the knowledge and give some understanding of even how I'm seeing things, and helping you to see things, you don't have to see it how I'm seeing, but I'm trying to each one teach one, passing on some type of knowledge, and you build on it, and then you know you go forth for yourself, because I'm just presenting it to you on a platter. I can't feed it to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why can't we do the same thing? When we talking about heterosexuals that are out here in different positions, and when we know we're fighting for certain things, why can't we stand together as they stand together in the LGBTQ? You don't have to. So as I said, you don't have to agree with someone 100%. But you can, it's a jewel in mostly everything. You can take something from it. And the way that they stick together and the way that, you know, I have to salute that, you know. And like I said, I'm a man all day. I'm not gay, I'm not bi, I'm not none of that. But I can respect when somebody ain't gonna let you just trample all over them and kick dirt on them like that. You know what I'm saying? And knowing that each individual in that community has had to deal with things within their own family. You know what I'm saying? So they come out into the world and they have to fight the world on what they feel, their feelings. They got to fight the world about how they feeling about, you know, their lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's a lot. So at the same and at the same time, you're a heterosexual, you fighting against you have fights with your family maybe as well too, and on different things. You know what I mean? Maybe whatever it is, maybe for your beliefs, your life, maybe the way you're living your life. Maybe, you know, maybe the job you chose, the school you went to, maybe you didn't go to school and they wanted you to go to, you know, when I say go to school, maybe they wanted you to go to college, you didn't go to college, maybe you graduated, maybe you didn't graduate and they really was pushing for you to graduate. You many people could be fighting with their families for their own reasons and just fighting with their own demons. So we all have things that eternally we going through, and then we got to come out to the world and fight the world on the other issues. You know what I mean? When you have this person over here, you have the same outlook as this person, should all be. Why can't you just band together as they do in the LGBTQ? And just because they're in that community doesn't even mean that they all like each other. You know what I'm saying? But they're standing and stand for a cause. You know what I'm saying? And I have to respect that. And I just wanted to make a correlation here, like, hey man, the LGBTQ community, they go for theirs, man. And you gotta respect that. So I was doing some deep diving and I said, man, you know, in 2021 there were 81 bills passed. 81 bills passed in 2021, and now not one of them was the HR1 S1, which is for the People Act, and that's all. And the For the People Act is all about for the voting rights and gerrymandering. You know all the things that they were trying to do. You might have heard where they were trying to say the voters ID and all of this stuff, and you know just all the manipulation that was going on for voting, the long lines, and then it talks about, you know, folks being able to run for certain political positions without having to have big corporations behind you, you know, and things of that nature. We still see today, even with the administration we have right now, there's no talks about it. So far in 2022, there's been to up until the present. Let me actually see the actual. I need to get the actual. Up until last month, March, there's been 26 bills passed. And out of the 26 bills, you had the Emmett Till Anti-Lynching Act, you know, that was passed after 100 years, you know, and you gotta sit back and you gotta wonder, like, man, so it's become a federal crime. So it's like, wow, so you guys didn't think that was a federal crime? You didn't look at that as a federal crime, as all the things that has the history behind the lynching. Okay, the history behind that. You don't think that that's a federal crime? You know, so it's like it took 100 years. Okay, that's there. Okay, And so then it makes you wonder, like, okay, so when innocent black men and women were getting gunned down or getting gunned down by cops, you know, um, which I like to call those type of cops doing those type of acts, man, and you know, and we're seeing it in real time. I like to call them bandits. You know what I mean? And they getting away with it for whatever for whatever the state, you know, they play on their state laws or whatever like that, man, and they get away with a lot of crimes. Some people, you look at those crimes, you know, when black men and women are getting gunned down by police officers around the country, and people wonder, like, well, they got charged in this state but not in that state. Is all because of their state laws that would get these folks off. And they're you know, those cops and things of that nature, they're playing, their people are playing on those laws of their said states. You know what I mean? And then that's how most of them get off. And then you have weak, you know, weak juries and things of that nature. It's not balanced and things of that nature. Is just all off. You know what I mean? So there's that's why you see, like, some states, you got some will go to jail and then others won't go to jail, or you know, it's just because of their state laws. You know, like, once again, it's United States, so everyone, there's constitution that you have to follow, you know, the federal, but then there's state laws that are for that state, and these people be playing those games and know how to straddle that fence, man, when it comes down to it. So yeah, and then but you still wonder, like, well, why isn't there no law still being created, or no bill brought forth about protecting the lives of black Americans? Why? You know, and then I go back and I look and I say, you know what? The LGBTQ wouldn't let that. They going for everything. Transgender, they fighting for every part of their community. They're gonna fight for it. They're gonna come together on it, and they're gonna wave their flag on it. You know, and you gotta respect that, man. And I just look at it and I'm like, man, you know, some people can step back and they'll be angry, like, oh, why am I always getting? Because they stick together. That's just what I'm getting at. They stick together. You know, if they're in media and if let's just say they work for one big entertainment company, and someone comes and does an interview, okay, prime example. You see what happened with Netflix, and then, you know, when Dave Chappelle and everything like that, what happened? Now, me personally, I didn't, you know, I didn't see where Dave Chappelle, I see he was making a joke, and then I felt where he showed compassion doing his stand up, and he was actually, like, he was in support of the transgender woman. He was showing support and compassion. So I don't know where, you know, where it got, you know, where the wires got crossed. But once again, it don't matter. The LGBTQ community stepped right in, because why? Because they have a lot I didn't know that until it happened, but they have a lot of of people in the community that works for Netflix. You know, they have a lot of people in that community that works for Netflix. So they stood, you know, they were walking out, ready to walk out, and things of that nature. So again, once I'm saying, like, If you come inside of a building they work at and disrespect, you gonna know about it. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is we have people, when we think about the heterosexual community, we don't even stick together, man. We got everybody still going at each other's throats about this and that. Uh, so when we look at the politics, you got folks over here playing the game where you got this one president that was disrespecting people, man. We disrespecting people. Period. No one said nothing. People were saying things, but you had this one group over here rallying for that, thinking it was funny, cheering them on. But then you had another group over here that was like, that's not cool. You know, that's disrespectful. That's disrespectful. You know, so we got what we have the heterosexuals are divided. Nobody's coming together on a lot of issues. You don't have enough people ain't stepping up, and then you have, but then when you have the LGBTQ community, it don't matter. They coming together. If you attack someone that you in any sector of that, they're coming for you. They're standing up. If it's wrong, it's wrong. And see, that's the thing when it comes to us as heterosexuals, we not sticking together. And it's a shame I have to break it down in this manner, you know what I mean? But you just have to actually step back and call it what it is. This is Space Invaders TV. Space Invaders mission statement is invade the spaces you want to be in. Don't be afraid to invade the spaces you want to be in, and talk about the things that people talk about. That the conversations that I had. I hear the conversations. I've heard the conversations. I watch them. I've heard them out in public. You hear them throughout social media. Folks are, the question is always about why we got to keep hearing about the gay community and this, that, and that. Why they always feel like they special? Why they that? It's not so much of that. When you step back and look at it, it's about they're fighting, and they're not gonna sit down. They're gonna stand up because they got so much that they fighting for. You know what I mean? And just fighting to be who they just being who they are is a fight. You know, in this country, you know. And so they're not sitting down, and they know to come together. You know, it's strength in numbers. But it's like we have people that they got money, and they're gonna protect that and not so much of what's right. You know, it's all about just like I'm gonna protect my assets. I really don't care what's morally right. You know what I mean? Like, it's like morals and everything are out the door for some when it comes to those type of people that have the money. And then you have those that are in positions that don't want to say anything. They're afraid to lose their spots. And sometimes so they're gonna roll with, they're gonna look around into their constituents, what's popular, and they're gonna roll with what's popular. You know what I mean? Not what's really right. And that's just what we're seeing when we come to a lot of things, man. And I just felt this shit for a minute and share that, man, because that's been on my mind, and I've been watching it for quite some time, for a long time. And I'm like, wow, that's just crazy, man. Like, why can't we do the same thing? Why can't, when somebody's saying something and you know that they're saying something that's right, and you fact check them, and and they're speaking to you, like me, I bring things to the people and I say to myself, okay, why isn't it more people talking about this? if I present it to you and I know that this is something going on, not just in one community around the country, why aren't people talking about this? You know, what startled me as well is when I made it clear that the students of North Carolina, for decades, students in this state, in the public school system, have had their state's constitutional rights violated. Okay, to a fair and sound basic education. Now, I thought that I would see many people talking about that, but you know what was funny? I see the outrage, and I'm talking in the state of North Carolina, right? And I'm talking, and I talked about that, and I broke it down, and I said that this is in the state's constitution, you know. The next thing, I see a big outrage about one of the schools here in the state, in one of the counties here, that the parents are in the uproar about another school being built onto their baseball field or softball field. And I'm like, you're enraged over that. Like, you're enraged over that. So I'm like, okay, so if you know that if your child the constitutional rights have been violated, and I said, well, people were in the uproar because they felt like their rights were being violated over wearing masks. But when you say something about your constitution rights, so everything that you're seeing wrong in your state is nothing more than is nothing more than the burning cloth from the state violating the daggone kids' rights. So therefore, the counties they see the state ain't even caring. The county is not gonna care either. They're gonna short your child as well. You know, so it's just a domino effect, burning cloth. You know, and then entails the kick in the can effect that I like to call it. So, you know, and I'm like, wow. So so people's whole priorities are just jacked up, man. Like, and I just sat back and I'm like, wow. You present something to people and you let them know where you can go get this information from, and you go and you say, man, it's been decades of kids, your grandparents, your moms, your grandparents, they've been violated. The education system has been violated here in this state long time. You know what I mean? When I did the math, I said 100 years. You know, 100 years. So you say, wow, you know, why isn't it an uproar about that? But so people want to know why, you know, people were uproared about the transportation around the state and everything like that. And I said, but this is nothing more. Everything that I've talked about, I'm like, okay, so the buck stops right there. There's no need for me to even talk about anything else with this education system, right? Until the state makes that right. You know why? Because this is what it all stems from. It stems from the state violating their constitutional rights. These counties, there's 100 counties in the state of North Carolina. Some of these counties, they know. Okay? They know. There's people in these counties within the school system that know about this. They know that the state has violated your child's constitutional rights. You know what I'm saying? Besides the counties who brought this forth, you know what I mean, in 1994. So, you know, not to go back down that route, man, but you can go back into the archives and look at that when I spoke about, you know, the constitutional rights of the students of North Carolina has been violated. You can go back into the archives, but that's just making a point to show, like, hey, people are playing like they're concerned about a lot of things, but people are only concerned about the things that minor shit. You know what I mean? People are concerned about petty shit that they shouldn't be concerned of, that really shouldn't even get no attention to like that. You know, but the things that really need attention to, they don't. And so this goes down to politics. They say, okay, well, we'll pass this law here, but we're not gonna dig deep into this law. We'll put this law on the books, but we ain't gonna do this. We're gonna have to do a little more work on that. And it's like, yeah, you got to use your brain. You got to really dig deep. It's easy to take the easy route and pass this bill right here. You know what I mean? But what about what we've been waiting on for years for you to pass? When are you gonna pass it? You know, and then when the people on the inside gonna really stand up? When they're gonna really stand up? You know, when they're in positions that the people put you in to speak for the people, when are you going to actually start speaking for the people? And then when is the people going to actually start really stepping up and saying something? You know, like I said, I gotta give I gotta give much respect to the LGBTQ community, because, like I said, when it comes to their rights, they're gonna stand up for it, you know, and they're gonna keep fighting, and you're gonna hear them. And for the last 10 years, I've been hearing everything concerning their community. I've heard about it. You know why? Because it's in the media. It's in the media. All sections of the media, social media, the television, you know, you're gonna hear it. www. The World Wide Web is all on it. You're gonna see it. Magazines, digital magazines, I should say, and publications. You're gonna see it. Local level, state level, federal level. You're hearing about everything concerning the LGBTQ community on every level. They're making sure they stand in the face. They're not staying quiet, and that's what I mean. Our we have the other side, the heterosexuals that are out here supposed to be fighting for the rights of the people. We're not hearing it, but what we hear is a lot of hatred. We get a lot of hatred. So I know to some, if you tapped in, it might sound like I'm rambling on, but I'm just making a correlation, and you just ask yourself why. Like, why is it that way? Why? Why aren't we learning from different? You can take from everything. There's a gem in everything. There are gems, not workout gym. There's a gem in everything in life. There's a lesson to be learned. There's a lesson to be had in every level of life. From the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, there's a lesson to be learned throughout your day. Sometimes you don't get the lesson, you don't see it. Sometimes, you know, but if you, especially, if you have a productive life, okay, a productive life, you go to school, you go to work, you do both, or whatever the case is, you have a productive life, you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is, if you have a productive life, there's a lesson to be learned every day. It's just about tapping in, you know, because some people can get so engulfed in what they do. I call it tunnel vision, where they don't see nothing else around them. And it's okay to have that sometime, but you gotta keep your third eye up too. You can have the tunnel vision, but you gotta know sometime when to kind of tap out of that for a minute and pay attention to what's going on, and then you can go back in. You know what I mean? You gotta be able to be versatile with it. You just can't have tunnel vision because there's too much going on. There's too much going on that is affecting everybody. Okay? So you have to stay on point. But that's my time, folks. I know I made this episode, man, seem like I'm rambling on, but I'm just trying to make a coalition here, and it's just some things that be on my mind, and I step back and I see things. I try not to go to analyze things so, but you know, it's just those things when I pay attention, and like I said, that's not no shot, no shape or form at the LGBTQ community. This is all about just showing like how a group or a community of people can get together that's standing on one accord and fighting the fight. You know what I mean? As they like to say, they knew the assignment. You know what I mean? They know the assignment and they go. You know, we have ones. We have those. I ain't gonna say the heterosexual community, but let's just call it that. The heterosexual community. We have those of us in this heterosexual community that we got so many freaking things going on. You got this community fighting against, they're split in half, they're fighting against each other for race issues and all of this. When you look at the LGBTQ community, you don't hear them fighting about no race within their community. You know what I mean? You don't hear the people in their community fighting over race issues. But we have a heterosexuals fighting. We're fighting amongst ourselves race issues and everything. But everything else, but we have blacks fighting against the whites, and vice versa. And it's like, well, we ain't the only ones, we ain't the only two people in this country, but we still fighting against each other because one is failing to hear the other party and failing to address certain issues. You know what I'm saying? So that's where that happens at. And that shit just continues to go on, and then the things that need to be done don't get done. So I just wanted to make that, clear that. And like I said, once again, peace to everybody. Peace and blessings to everybody. I hope I wasn't just too all over the place for you guys, but it was just something that was just on me that I needed to get off and talk about. Like I said, I ain't afraid to speak on nothing, and I respect every man and woman, whatever your nationality, creed, belief, whatever gender, that you want to, that you identify as. I don't care. We all human at the end of the day. I don't care what you identify as with, concerning your gender. You have a mind, you are human, you have a spirit, you have feelings, you have a brain, you understand. So it's all about, understanding the goal and understanding what it is, the mission, And so once again, peace and blessings to everybody. Make sure y'all share the channel here, share the messages I share with you guys. Don't just save it for yourself, because someone, if you feel like you don't need to hear it, someone needs to hear it, and it's all about each one teach one over here. This is not a hate channel. This is a channel where I'm just trying to spread knowledge and just share what may be on my brain at times and what I see, you know what I mean? Because sometimes we do have folks that do have tunnel vision and don't, and they need something to pull them out of that sometimes, so they can come up for some air and look and see what's going on around you, because it's not always good, especially not in these times, to have tunnel vision and not have your third eye up, and knowing what's going on around you, But that's my time, folks. Once again, this is Space Invaders TV. Thank you for your time. I'm going to check y'all next week, y'all.